Hello everyone, welcome to our article review video presentation. My name is Dimas and together with my partner.
I'm Andres. Today we are going to present scooping review of news article published by CNN.
The article is titled Liverpool star Mo Salah to leave a club at the end of the season, written by Associated Press. This article discusses one of the most significant sporting news stories of early 2026, the departure of Mo Salah from Liverpool Football Club.
We choose this article because it is not only relevant to the world of sports, but it also raises interesting discussion about identity, loyalty, conflict, and media language, themes that connect to our study of English literature.
Let us begin with a summary of the article. The article reports that Mo Salah, 32-year-old Egyptian forward, officially announced on March 24, 2026 that he will be leaving Liverpool Football Club at the end of the season. This departure was described as earlier than planned, as Mo Salah had previously signed a 2-year contract extension, which was set to keep him at the club until 2027. According to the article, Salah and Liverpool reached a mutual agreement for him to leave 1 year ahead of the schedule. Liverpool, who are the reigning Premier League champions, confirmed the news through an official statement describing Salah as I quote, one of the greatest players in the Liverpool history.
Heading to the summary, throughout these 9 years at the club, Salah scored 255 goals in 435 appearances, making him the third highest scorer in the Liverpool's all-time history. Behind only in Ian Rush and Roger Hunt, he won 2 Premier League titles, 1 Champions Leagues, and a total of 8 trophies with the club. However, this final season was marked by tension. The article mentioned that Salah's form had dipped noticeably, and he was dropped from the starting lineup for several games. This led to a public conflict with manager Arne Slot, during which Salah made some controversial remarks to the press, saying that the club had, in his words, thrown him under the bus.
Despite this conflict, the article ends on a relatively positive note, with Liverpool stating that Salah remains focused on helping the team finish the season strongly. At the time of the article, Salah was recovering from a muscle injury sustained in the Champions League, and Liverpool was still competing in both the Premier League and the Champions League quarterfinals against Paris Saint-Germain.
Now, let's discuss the objectives and methodology of this article. Since this is a news article rather than a traditional academic paper, we will approach it through the lens of journalistics, intents, and communications emotionally.
In terms of methodology, the article relies on several journalistic techniques. First, it uses direct quotes from both Mo Salah's Instagram statement and Liverpool's official press release, which ensures that the reporting is grounded in primary sources. Second, the article provides historical statistics and contextual background, such as Salah's goal record and trophy list, to help readers assess the magnitude of this event. Third, it presents multiple perspectives: Salah's emotional farewell statement, Liverpool's formal response, and factual reporting on the conflict with the manager.
This multi-source approach reflects standard journalistic methodology. Third, it is worth noting that the article does not investigate the internal reasons behind the early departure, which leads us to our critical analysis.
Moving on to our critical analysis, we identified several important themes and points of discussion in this article. First, the theme of identity and belonging. Salah's statement: Liverpool is not just a football club, it's a passion, it's a history, it's a spirit. That's a deep emotional connection between a player and an institution. From a literal and linguistic perspective, The use of emotionally charged language there contrasts sharply with the more formal corporate tone Liverpool's official statement. This contrast tells us something interesting about how individuals and institutions communicate differently even in the same situation.
Second, we would like to highlight the theme of the public conflict and media narrative. The article describes a very public falling out between Salah and the club, which raises the question, how does media coverage shapes our perception of sport personalities? The word choices in the article, such as acrimonious exit and explosive interview, reflect a media tendency to dramatize conflict. As students of English literature, we find it important to research language critically and consider whose perspective is behind centered.
Third, the article touches on the theme of legacy and, 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 and at the end of an era, the fact that Liverpool publicly called Salah one of the greatest players in their history, despite an acrimonious exit, suggests that legacy is often negotiated and constructed, not simply earned. This is a relevant discussion in both cultural studies and media discourse.
One limitation of this article is that is the written in the immediate heat of the announcement, which means it lacks depth in analyzing the long-term implications, such as where Salah will go next or what this means for Liverpool's future. Additionally, as a news report, it cannot be fully objective since the farming of the event can always reflect additional choices.
Now, for our personal reflection, for me, what stood out the most was Salah's emotional statement. Even though the debate was somewhat contentious, he chose to speak with gratitude and warmth. This reminded me that how he communicates, especially in times of conflict, says a lot about our character in the context of English language. His choice of words reflect emotional intelligence and rhetorical awareness.
We found the contrast between Salah's emotional language and Liverpool's formal institutional response to be the most thought-provoking aspect of this article. It shows how the same event can be communicated in completely different registers, one personal, one professional. This is something we study in linguist courses, and seeing it apply in real life makes it much more meaningful.
Overall, this article is not just about football, it is about human relationship, public communication, and identity, and how media shapes our understanding of public figures. We believe it is a highly relevant next for our studies in English language and literature.
Okay, the article Liverpool star Mohamed Salah to leave club at the end of the seasons by the Associated Press in a rich text that goes beyond sports reporting. It touches on themes of loyalty, conflict, legacy, and media language, all of which are deeply relevant to the field of English language and literature.
We hope this review has given you a deeper appreciation of how news articles and can be read critically and analytically. Thank you so much for watching our presentation, and see you on the other podcast. Thank you.